Hi everybody. So I wanted to share with you how I got rid of thrips on my houseplant. So I don't know about the rest of you, but I kind of got into collecting rare plants over lockdown really. And to begin with, everything was sailing and I didn't think about things like bugs and pests or anything like that. I had no problems. Everything felt very easy. And I think when you have your first bout of pests in your very expensive rare house plants is when you realize it's not quite as simple to grow these things. And, you do have to kind of learn about them. And, as you go, you learn. So I just wanted to share with you how I personally got rid of the thrips on my houseplants. And at one point it was actually pretty bad because what happened was I had a few, and what they were doing to mine was, because I have so many baby plants, and I don't know if other people find this, but they had very, very specific plants that they really liked as well. So actually some got completely left alone with no sign. And then I think it was my, you know what, I can't believe I actually can't pronounce this, but my philodendron campospartum, they went mad for those. My Plougmani, they love those. And there's just certain plants that they went crazy for and certain ones that they just completely left alone. But they really affected the new growth was what I found. So because I had so many babies and 1-leaf cuttings and 2-leaf cuttings, because that was all I could really afford at the start, they would get the new leaf as it was coming through, so it wouldn't develop properly. So it was really a problem because I was starting to not, obviously when a very, very baby plant gets its kind of first few leaves taken off, then that's a big problem for a new plant. So anyway, I saw it and I started treating them with a mix of, so the mix that I did was distilled water. So I never spray my plants with tap water. I do water them with tap water, honestly, because I just have way too many not to, but I give them nutrients, like liquid gold really helps with tap water, at least once a week, but I never spray them with tap water. So I had distilled water, a little bit of neem oil, just a few drops, very strong, and then some just dish soap, like some fairy liquid kind of stuff, but natural. So not actual fairy liquid, but a natural version of that, like one of the eco ones, which I use anyways. So I put that in a bottle, not loads, you don't want it super soapy, but a few squirts of that, a few drops of neem oil, distilled water, and I just sprayed them. And I think that actually they say to only do it every week or 2 weeks or something, which I actually was doing at the beginning. Now, towards the end, I ended up doing it literally every other day, and that was really what helped. And it didn't affect my plants at all to be sprayed. I had quite a weak dilution. It didn't really hurt my plants to be sprayed that much. But yeah, so I had this problem and I was trying to fix it. And then I went away for between 3 and 4 weeks. And I left my friend looking after my plants, who doesn't really know that much about houseplants. So I'm not blaming her. And they actually were all, apart from one, which is my little snowdrift I lost, but apart from that, they all were alive and they were actually thriving when I got back. But the problem that I did have was the thrips had just gone crazy. Because while she was away, I did say about spraying it, but she probably walked around and sprayed them once. When people are not into plants, they don't really get it. So I came back to such an infestation. So yes, the plants were all alive and they'd all kind of survived, and they, hadn't dried out and wilted away and died. It did help that it was kind of winter. So I was impressed. They all made it, but they were literally covered in thrips at this point. Okay, covered maybe is an exaggeration, but it was definitely, some plants were like pretty problematic, and they'd got like chunks out the leaves and like brown spots. And I just really had to go to town, and I just started spraying them probably every 2 days. And something that really helped me as well was just manually doing it. So I showered my plants, I put them in the shower and I sprayed them with the shower head. I would then spray them afterwards, and I would just thoroughly, I mean, luckily, even though I've got a lot of plants, I don't have tons of leaves on them, so I guess I was lucky in that sense that I could actually investigate the leaves of every single plant, which is essentially what I did. It took me a little while to really completely get rid of them all, but like now if I see one, it's such a rare occurrence. It's like a loose one or two, and you know, I don't know if you can really expect your plants to be 100% pest free, but they don't cause any damage. And yeah, I probably just see like one once in a blue moon, and it's not even done any damage to the plant, and I just get rid of it by hand with cotton ball water. I just wipe it off. And really, actually, that was one of the biggest things for me, was manual removal, and just to keep on top of that over a period of time. So I was constantly wiping the leaves down, constantly looking for them. So it was a daily process, you know. Having a lot of plants requires a lot of time. I think people don't understand that. And at the beginning, it all seems great, and then you get a problem and you sort of have to know how to fix it. But that really, really worked for me. I also did get some beneficial bugs, and in the end as well, and I released some of those. I'm not too sure, you know, how much they helped, because, you know, you have to stop spraying before you release them. So I did, and I've only started spraying again recently. But I actually think the spraying alone would actually work, honestly, but the beneficial bugs are a great thing to throw in as well. But yeah, and just, if there's one thing that really, really helped me, it's the manual checking and the keeping up with it now, and the not letting things get out of control. You know, I think we can be a bit, you know, in a false sense of security when we start plant growing, because we don't realize these things, like how bad they can be and that they can take over. And I didn't check my plants enough until there was actual damage. Whereas now what I do is, you know, every 2 days I go around all my plants. I mean, obviously you probably can't do that if you've got 8,000 like plants, but I don't have that many. So I can manage mine that every 2 days I actually manually check all the leaves, and I check that, you know, there's no damage to any of the leaves. And that's really actually the number one tip that I would give, is to just stay on top of it and to like know all the signs of these things, and to actually proactively look for them, because once they take over, it's a much bigger job to get rid of them than it is to, you know, nip them in the bud and stop them from like becoming a problem. I know some people perhaps are pest free, but I don't know if you can be 100% pest free if you're bringing in new plants and you have your plants in your house with you. I mean, for me personally, I live with all my plants, so I don't have like cabinets and grow lights. Personal choice, that to me would strip the joy out of plant owning. If I had to kind of have them all in artificial grow lights, even in summer, and in cabinets or in rooms with no sunlight, that just isn't why I'm into plants. I'm into plants because I want them around me, I want to enjoy them, I want to you know, spend time with them every day, you know. And I also think then when they go to, you know, someone's home, surely that person wants to know that they, you know, can survive in a house situation. You know, I'm sure people that just have them for their own benefits are not going to want to have them in cabinets and artificial grow lights. And yes, in the winter we need a bit of help in the UK with some grow lights, but yeah, I like to have mine around. I like to enjoy them. So can you be like 100% pest free in that environment? Possibly not, but you can definitely keep them under control, is what I've found anyways, to the point where they're not doing any damage to your plants. And you're just constantly like rinsing them off as well. So with some of my plants, I did have to take leaves off and make cuttings. And those cuttings, I would rinse them under the tap. So I would literally just even sometimes put them in a sieve and just wash them and wash them and wash them and wash them, and then put them back to root. And yeah, collectively all that stuff has really helped, because my plants absolutely fine now. And I didn't even really quarantine them because I just couldn't, because they spread, you know, by that time. But yeah, you can get rid of them. And yeah, keep them under control is my main tip. So you don't have a massive crisis on your hands that you then have to sort of lose a lot of your plants from cutting off leaves and leaves dying and that. So yeah, I hope that helped. Let me know how your tips, because that's the thing, we're all there's probably some people that have been in this journey forever, but I think there's a lot of people like me that got into this over lockdown, and you know, we learn from each other and from our own experience. You know, nearly everything I've learned with my plants is just from doing it, trying it, having a go. And you know, some of the things that work for other people don't work for me, and vice versa. So yeah, yeah, let me know what you guys do to get rid of any pests. All right, bye.